slope. But what if you're just given 2 points? You know, what if they say, here's 2 points, give us the equation of the line that would include both those points, or maybe the line that would connect both of those points. How would you do that? Well, I encourage you maybe to even pause the video and try to think about it, like how would you make the equation of that kind of line? But otherwise I'm just going to tell you. So you can just use those points and find the slope with the slope formula that you might have seen in one of our other videos. And then you could use that slope and then any of these points with the point slope formula to find the equation of that line. So first things first, we've got to find the slope, right? So if you don't remember, the slope formula is just, I'll write it right here. Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? Because this is basically the change in the y values divided by the change in the x values, which is sort of like the rise over the run, right? Okay, so over here we could call, if we're looking at these points over here, we could call this our x1, y1, right? And this could be our x2, y2 right here, right? I mean, we could have made this one x1, y1 and this one x2, y2, it doesn't matter, it's arbitrary. Okay, so let's compute our slope using this. So our y2 is 12, right? Minus y1, which is negative 2, so subtracting negative 2 is the same thing as adding 2, right? Right, subtracting a negative 2 is the same thing as adding a 2. So on the bottom, we're going to have x2 minus x1, so x2 is 3. Okay, minus negative 3. So just like before, minusing a negative 3, right? That's the same thing as adding a 3. So we'll go ahead and just write that right now. Okay, so negative 12 plus 2 is going to be, 12, just regular 12, plus 2 is 14. And then 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay, and then if we wanted, we could simplify this, right? This would be 7 over 3. So it looks like our slope is going to be 7 over 3. So write that down somewhere, remember that, we'll keep that for the next step. Okay. So now we have a slope, right? I could even write it right here. M equals positive 7 over 3. And we have 2 points, so we could just do what we did last time, except now we have 2 points and we only need 1, right? So you just choose which point you want to use. I know that the point slope formula has y1 and x1 here, so you might think like, okay, so that means we have to use this point. But really, as long as you just use the x value and the y value from a single point, so you could use this 3 and this 12 instead, then you'd be fine. So let's go ahead and use this point, and then I'll show you at the end that using another point gives us the same equation. So I'm going to go ahead and just plug everything in. So we're going to have y minus, and then y1 is negative 2. So I'll go ahead and put it right here, negative 2, equals m, which we found out is 7 over 3. And that's how I write 7s, I know it might look weird. Times m, right? Not m, x. Oh. X minus x1, which is negative 3. Okay, so then to simplify this, subtracting by negative 2 is the same thing as adding 2. Then over here, we'll multiply everything out. 7 over 3x, right? If you multiply these two, and then if you multiply these two. Remember that this minus negative 3 is the same thing as plusing a 3, right? So 7/3 times 3, really quick. 7/3 times 3. We've got a 3 in the numerator and a 3 in the denominator. So the answer is just 7. So we'll have a plus 7 right here. And almost done. We just got to subtract the 2 on both sides so that we don't have to, so we have the y by itself over here. And we end up with y equals 7/3 x. And then plus 7 minus 2 is just plus 5. So that would be the equation of our line. 7/3. Thought I'd rewrite that. Cool, so yeah, that's how you do it when they give you 2 points. You use the 2 points with the slope formula to find the slope, and then you just use one of those points in your point slope formula. And real quick, actually, I'll just show you that if you were to use the other point, you would get the same thing. So really quick, if I can erase all of this. So we're gonna use this point now. So I know it says x2, y2, but we're just gonna pretend. We're just gonna use those as our x1 and our y1 for the point slope formula. So we're gonna have y minus y1. So minus the y value basically, which is 12. So y minus 12 equals m, which is 7/3, right? Times x minus x1. So remember we're using this point now, so we'll do x minus 3. Okay, so let's go down to this step. We'll distribute this, so 7/3 times x is just 7/3 x, and 7/3 times a -3 is just going to be just like last time, except we have a negative here. These cancel, and so our answer is -7. So we'll have -7 this time. And then we'll add 12 on both sides. And we get y equals 7/3 x. Oh, I'll put that line for you. Y equals 7/3 x, and then -7 plus 12 is going to be plus 5. And that's what we got last time. So really, it doesn't matter which point you use, they both give the same answer. Okay, so now that we did one together, why don't you try this one on your own, just like before. So you're given 2 points, -1, -8, and 2, 7. See if you can find the equation of the line that would pass through those 2 points. And remember, put it in slope-intercept form, and remember, so you're going to use those 2 points to find the slope, and then use the slope, and then either of those points in point slope formula. So give that a try, pause the video, and then unpause it when you're done. Okay, hopefully you tried that one. So let's try it together. So remember, first we're going to find the slope. So m equals, remember it's y2 minus y1, so we could do 7 minus -8. So minus negative is the same thing as plus. Okay. And then on the bottom, x2 minus x1, so 2 minus a -1, so we could do +1 instead. Okay? So we're going to get 7 plus 8, which is going to be 15. And then 2 plus 1 is going to be 3. And then 15/3 simplifies, right, because 3 goes into 15 5 times, and 3 goes into 3 1 time, so it's 5/1, which is just 5, right? Okay, so we know our m equals 5. I'll write it right here. M equals 5. And so now we're going to use the slope, and then either of these points, I'll go ahead and use these points right here, the 2 and the 7, why not? And we'll go ahead and put it in the point slope formula. So we're going to have y minus y1, which our y value is 7, so y minus 7 equals m, right, so 5, times x minus the x value, right, x1, so we'll use 2. Because remember, we chose this point for our point slope formula. Okay, so then we'll just simplify. So over here, we're just going to have 5 times x is 5x. Luckily, no more fractions. 5 times -2 is -10. Okay, we'll add 7 to both sides to cancel that. And we're going to have y equals 5x, and then -10 plus 7 is -3. Okay, so that should be your answer for this problem.